We need to move in Africa. We need to reduce meetings and go more on projects. Go on the field and make an impact, with our farmers. We all know the problems on the continent. We all know, but we need to implement. We need to commit ourselves. We need to invest in this sector. The sector is the key sector for economic transformation in Africa. Right. So it's true, we need this type of forum for us to exchange, It's a good platform for exchanging lesson, mobilizing resources. It's welcome. But we need to do less forums and call on our partner to assist directly our member countries.
Where do you see the missing link then? Because these forums do attract the right people, from industry players, to the farmers who are actually practicing farming in different fields from across the region. Where then do we get it wrong as far as the implementation is concerned?
I commend AGRF for really bringing about 3,000 people here. So meaning that it is really representative. We have the decision makers, we have civil servants, from different ministries. We have academians, we have a private sector, we have civil society, women organization, farmers organization, the youth. I think everybody's on board, everybody's stable in this forum, here in Kigali. So it is a very good moment for people to exchange and to see what is happening elsewhere. So I really commend this event, but I think we need to be proactive. African Union has its own flagship program, which is CADEP. CADEP, it is a commitment of head of states to transform agriculture. In 2003, CADEP was created even before Agenda 2063. So it meaning that our head of states has really engaged themselves, committed themselves to transform agriculture. And there were two key issues that our head of state wanted to see transformed in this sector. It was food security, because we had a problem of hunger of our citizens, and the issue of finance, how to finance agriculture. Agriculture is one of the sectors that is badly financed. A farmer can have a program, but he doesn't have access to a commercial bank. So if you don't invest in this sector, how are you going to meet your goals? How are you going to feed the nation? How are you going to provide jobs to reduce poverty? How are you going to do the intra-African trade? So all these issues need investment. And that was CADEP. And in 2014, the head of state recommitted themselves on the CADEP principle, and they took agriculture as priority, and they brought up 7 more commitments.
Does Africa need commitments just in paper, or they need the action? Because as we speak today, 70% of the populations in Africa rely on agriculture. But we tend to see a lot of governments say that agriculture is the backbone of the economies. But if you look on the flip side, as you rightly put it, poorly financed. Here in Rwanda, only 1% of the loans that were given out by financing institutions went to the sector. If you look at the budgetary allocations, less than 15% given to this sector. So what is going on here?
When you look at the example of EU, they have a common agricultural pact, So that is what I'm saying. CADEP, it is a commitment, and you know that when you are a leader, you need to commit yourself on the key sector, which is agriculture. So back home, they need to implement the commitment, the common commitment. Like in EU, they have a common policy on agriculture. They have a common pact of agricultural development in Europe. Here we have CADEP. When I'm telling you, when I'm talking about the commitment, because African Union, is the policy, is the organization of policy and strategy for the whole continent. So the head of state agreed, when you go back home, you have to implement. So what is lacking is lack of commitment, leadership and real commitment back home. So those are the two things that we need to look at.
I think the major challenge has never been what we need to do. The major challenge has always been what happens now to those who don't actually walk the talk. When we agree together, when we have a common agreement that this is the direction we're going to take, and then only a handful take that direction, what really should be happening to the countries that are lagging behind, in your opinion?
I think through the media, we are trying to popularize what we are doing. Our program of CADEP, our Agenda 2063, because there are a lot of Africans, they don't know what is Agenda 2063. So if a leader, you know, wants to have success during his tenure or his mandate, you know, he needs to comply also with the international engagement. If you don't comply, your own people will judge you. It is not the organization that will judge you, but your own people, you know, because today is democracy. People will see that head of state, what is he doing? That minister, what is he doing? That head of, you know, this is a way to also, you know, judge people that are working and those that are not working, because we need to be proactive. We need to move from a status, you know, the income, you know, small income status country to medium to high income status country, because we believe that we have everything. Africa is blessed with mostly this particular sector, which is agriculture, but we need to invest. Roads, we need to invest, you know, roads, water, electricity, to make, 2 weeks ago we were here, the youth were saying to make agriculture sexy. So we need that agriculture sexy. And we need people that are really commitment. Commitment and leadership, I think, is the way forward. Right. And I am committed as a commissioner for African Union. I'm really committed during my tenure to really, you know, transform or make a change on few issues. I cannot do everything because I have a mandate. But during my mandate, I think if I can, you know, remove Africa from food shortage to food surplus, I think I've done something. If I can attain the objective of 30% of opportunity of job for the youth, I think I've done something. If I can remove the dodgery and the mechanized agriculture for women, I think I've done something.
And I'm sure it's not going to be an easy task because you're handling a lot of diverse people and populations in this particular area. But I want to jump just real quick before I let you go. Africa can feed itself. Fact or a myth or just a slogan?
No, it's a fact. Africa can feed itself and it can feed the world. Okay. Africa can feed the planet because we have 40% of arable land, you know, comparing to the rest of the globe. So this comparative advantage, we should take the dividends and start feeding ourselves, removing our population from extreme hunger, and then feed the world.